Sort of see the political system in the U.S. In a free fall, really. You know, it's been held hostage by oligarchy, by big money for decades, and it's, you know, the latest step has been Citizens United. But there were a series of decisions leading up to this, and as money has become more concentrated in fewer hands, to where, you know, it's now 62 billionaires that have the wealth of half the entire world's population, and most of that is in the U.S. You know, that's been building, and as it has, in the words of the famous Supreme Court Justice Louis Brandeis, we can either have a democracy or vast concentrations of wealth. So we've got that vast wealth. It's now, you know, in the hands of political parties. And the rub here is that you have to identify that. You have to call it out. The problem here is not just the billionaires. The problem is also the political parties whom the billionaires control.
Senator Sanders is the only person who I think would characterize me, a woman running to be the first woman president, as exemplifying the establishment, 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 exemplifying the establishment.
So we have a foreign policy, which is basically, you know, what's the strategy here? What's the game plan? We've created failed states, mass refugee migrations, and worse terrorist threats through these wars for oil or war on terror, whatever you call it. It's nuts. And, you know, we need to abandon a foreign policy based on economic and military domination. It's about creating markets, and it's about securing oil. So this is a disaster.
So, Jill Stein, you don't think Hillary Clinton is the person to realign our foreign policy?
No, I don't. And I think Donald Trump is extremely scary, you know, with his militarism talk and his immigrant bashing and his climate denial. But I think Hillary Clinton is equally scary, not on what she says, but actually on what she's done. So the track record of Hillary Clinton in leading the charge into Libya, which was catastrophic, in leading us into an air war in Syria. So look out, people, because Hillary wants, you know, a no-fly zone over Syria against a nuclear-armed power that happens to be flying in Syria. So we are heading towards nuclear confrontation under Hillary Clinton. So I don't find this reassuring at all. The track record of Hillary Clinton is a proven quantity of the stuff that Donald Trump is talking about. And the bottom line is, I will be horrified if Donald Trump is elected. I will be horrified if Hillary Clinton is elected. And I am most horrified by a political system that says, here are two deadly choices, and forget it. That's all you get.
I did early on say we needed to try to find a way to train and equip moderates very early so that we would have a better idea of how to deal with Assad, because I thought there would be extremist groups filling the vacuum. So, yes, this has developed. I think that there are many other reasons why it has, in addition to what happened in the region, but I don't think that the United States has the bulk of the responsibility. I really put that on Assad and on the Iraqis and on the region itself. What would our response be? And I want the Iranians to know that if I'm the president, we will attack Iran. And I want them to understand that, because it does mean that they have to look very carefully at their society, because whatever stage of development they might be in their nuclear weapons program in the next 10 years, during which they might foolishly consider launching an attack on Israel, we would be able to totally obliterate them.
Our program, a Green New Deal, and it transforms the economy. It greens the economy, not only our energy system, but also our food and our transportation, and it provides essential infrastructure and restores ecosystems. So those are basically the focus of it. But it means everybody gets a job. Everybody who's capable and willing to work gets a full-time living wage job, greening the economy. And that means 100% renewable energy by 2030 so that we actually succeed in solving the climate crisis at the same time. We don't have to be the empire patrolling the world anymore, let alone the world's policemen. We can put our resources back into creating jobs and a livable climate right here at home, which is the source of true security.
Critics blame NAFTA for the loss of manufacturing jobs in industrial states including Ohio and Pennsylvania. Hillary Clinton helped get NAFTA approved. She held at least 5 meetings to strategize about how to win congressional approval. She helped the White House block opposition from labor and environmental groups, and she was the featured speaker at a crucial meeting. Participants in that event said, quote, her remarks were totally pro-NAFTA. There was no equivocation for her support for NAFTA at the time.
I have said from the very beginning that we had to have a trade agreement that would create good American jobs, raise wages, and advance our national security. And I still believe that's the high bar we have to meet. I have been trying to learn as much as I can about the agreement, but I'm worried.
So are you saying that as of today, this is not something you could support?
What I know about it as of today, I am not in favor of what I have learned about it.
So it's fair to say that our economies are entwined, and we need to keep upping our game, both bilaterally and with partners across the region through agreements like the Trans-Pacific Partnership, or TPP. Australia is a critical partner. This TPP sets the gold standard in trade agreements to open, free, transparent, fair trade, the kind of environment that has the rule of law and a level playing field. And when negotiated, this agreement will cover 40% of the world's total trade and build in strong protections for workers and the environment.
Look at the numbers. People have rejected the Democratic and Republican parties on a whole variety of polls. And in fact, the majority of Clinton supporters don't actually support Clinton. They just oppose Trump. And the majority of Trump supporters don't support him either. They just oppose Clinton. So there's an enormous momentum here to organize real change. If you recognize that, the lesser evil hasn't done it for us. In fact, in many ways, this politics of fear delivered everything we were afraid of. All those reasons we were told to vote for the lesser evil. You didn't want the massive bailouts for Wall Street and the offshoring of our jobs and the expansion of the war. That's exactly what we got. The politics of fear delivered everything we were afraid of. So, in a nutshell, I'd say forget the lesser evil, fight for the greater good like our lives depend on it, because they do.